As Walt Disney once said, we keep moving forward, which means change is inevitable for Disney World. Change is hard, but does it change for the better? We asked our readers, what do you hope changes in Disney World in 2023? The answer was almost unanimous, but these changes are actually going backwards in time. And as always, our cast has some thoughts.
I'd like to speak on one simple word right now, and that word is literally change. Over the past couple years at Disney World, why are you laughing? I just wanted to speak on it. Can I speak on it, please? What bit of... Oh, you're going to do actual change.
Change.
Over the past couple years, we have seen so much change to Disney, the Disney company as a whole, especially coming out of the pandemic. What's going to change? What's going to stick around? And we've seen some great things happen and some not so great things happen. Closures, openings, completely getting rid of systems altogether, getting brand new systems. And honestly, I think it's finally time we talk about these multiple Dumbos in the room. You see how I made that Disney? That's how I operate that.
Oh, because Dumbo's an elephant.
Dumbo's an elephant. Yeah. So does anybody want to start? Like, what's the number one change that you would like to see happen in 2023?
I think I've got one that most people can agree with, and that is changing the park reservation system. Now, I understand back in 2020 when parks were closed and then they reopened, Disney needed some way of keeping track of how many people were in the parks to monitor social distancing, to monitor how many cast members they needed to schedule shifts or maybe order certain food items. Like it's a good thing. Like Disney has it for a reason and it helps them out a lot. However, now that we're a little bit more removed from the panini, the panorama that we were all in, I think that
I've heard of it.
You were there.
The Pandora Express.
Yes.
Right.
The Pandora World of Avatar.
Yes. All of those things. Now that we're a little bit more removed from it and we're not really doing all of that social distancing anymore, a lot of people are wanting Disney to take away this park reservation system and relax on all of those rules. For example, Tracy D said, I'd love to see the park reservation system and park hopping restrictions go away. I don't care for how hard it is to be flexible with your date now. And that's a big thing because a lot of people, they were used to coming to Disney World, just showing up and having a great day. And that can't happen as much anymore with these systems in place and park hopping rules and all of that.
Doesn't even I miss when you used to be able to just especially as a local, you're just like, hey, I'm feeling some Magic Kingdom fireworks tonight. Or I'm feeling like I want to just pop on over to the Epcot Festival, grab some fun food, and drink for a bit, and then go home for a couple hours. It's specifically as a local. I miss that.
Even not as a local though, and RJ, maybe you can talk to this. I liked the ability to change plans, not as a local. When I used to travel into Disney World, maybe I made my park reservations 3 months ago and decided I wanted to Magic Kingdom that day, and they announced that something exciting is happening at Epcot and I want to go there instead that day and change my day around. But now I can't get Magic Kingdom on the day I want to slide it. Or this park reservation system is not just in Disney World, it's in Disneyland as well. When I came to Disneyland to visit RJ, that wasn't the only reason, but RJ was there. It was my primary reason for going. I made my park reservations weeks and weeks and weeks in advance because that was when I booked my tickets and I wanted to make sure I got them. And then when we finally had our filming schedule, it looked like I was going to start my day at Disney California Adventure, but I had made a park reservation for Disneyland and I couldn't switch it. I called and I talked to them and I was like, hey, I made these a long time ago. Nothing can be done. I could not switch it. It was the park, the reservations were full. I could not go to the other park. I didn't have that flexibility to change my plans. So even though I wasn't acting spontaneously, you don't even have the flexibility to change your plans if a park is full, which is what really I think is a bummer for me, especially when you're traveling, especially when you're paying a ton of money to fly down and stay in a hotel and pay for those park tickets, to not have flexibility. It's a major bummer, especially, and the park hopping, Major bummer.
I completely agree with you. You know, on both sides of the coast, when you came down here to visit me, remember I had a reservation for DCA and you guys were in Disneyland. And I was like, guess I'll just wait over here until I can come over at 12. I think it was 12 at the time. And, you know, when I go to Disney World, it can be very difficult when things change or plans change or, you know, friends want to meet at Magic Kingdom and you have a Hollywood Studios reservation. And so it can be very frustrating. And I completely agree. I feel like, you know, it's time for it to change back to what it was.
Mm-hmm. On the other side of this coin, though, the only thing that I keep trying to rack my brain about positives, you know, because I'm not trying to be like positive Polly. Is that a thing? I don't know. But
I'm obsessed. Positive Polly.
Positive Polly.
Positive Polly. I don't know. But the thing that I think is important for these reservations is that if you are traveling out of town, or let's say you really, really want to go to a park on this specific day, like it guarantees you getting into that park that day, like no matter what. So even if the park, you know, let's say it's a really busy day, but you happen to get your reservation, you know, a month ago, but now it's at capacity, but it's okay. You still have a reservation, so you can still get into that park. So there are two sides of this coin where I'm like, yes, absolutely. Like it's definitely stinks that you can't be as spontaneous, but on the other side, it's like a hardcore, like it guarantees you can get into this park now.
And some of our viewers actually agree with that statement as well. Like Adam C said, I don't understand why people hate the reservations. If you're out of state and you show up to a park and they turn you away because there's too many people in the park, that would be terrible. I like it because it's peace of mind knowing we will be able to get in. So that is a fair point, especially for out of town travelers. If you're going on like big weekends like New Year's Eve or Christmas, you know, those really big crowded times, you've got that reservation, you know you're going to a park that day. So that can be comforting.
Though I have had challenges with it, and I have, you know, woken up on a Saturday and been like, I would love to do an Epcot festival today, but I can't. I will say in the past 3-4 months, since we've really gotten into 2023 especially, you can most of the time get the park reservation you're looking for. Like in most instances, it used to be that, you know, when capacity was limited, the parks were filling up all the time and it was hard to, most of the time, if I wake up and I want to go to a park, all 4 parks are available. Unless there is something like really cool happening, like the opening day of a festival, but even then you can get in sometimes.
Like Tron previews.
Like Tron previews, yeah. Like if something super exciting is happening, maybe no. So it's getting to a point where I actually do feel like it's hitting a balance where it's peace of mind for those days where the park is going to be more crowded, but it's not hindering people trying to spontaneously go on the days where the park isn't going to be more crowded. And as we get in that space, I am feeling a little bit better about it because like now, like, I mean, I literally could look right now. I bet you I could get into any park today just because there's nothing happening on a Monday. And on most days, there's nothing happening. And on most days, you can get in really last minute or you can change your plans the day before or the night before. The other thing is that the park reservation system here in Disney World updates every 15 minutes on the 15. So if you don't have a park reservation and you want one, what I do is I literally will check on the 15 every 15 minutes. A few weeks ago, we were supposed to film Perfect Day in Magic Kingdom and realized the day before that only Sage had the bright reservation for the park and that Emma and I had the wrong parks. We realized that the day before. Friday was like coming up and it was completely booked. It was marathon weekend. So it was completely booked. That's what happened. I spent, you know, over the course of the day, every time I remembered, I didn't set alarms or anything, but every time I remembered, I would check right on that 15-minute mark. I was able to get myself like after, I think the 3rd time I checked, and I got Emma after the 5th and we all got in. So it was like, you know, like you can keep checking. There are tricks to it. And if you want to know those tricks, I did film a video on Sneaky Park Pass tips that has all of the tricks to getting park passes when they're sold out. And you can check that out on the channel right now. It's already up, so you can check that out. And that way you don't run into any of this. I'm just like, what if you got like an Oga's Cantina reservation for 9 a.m. and you had a park pass for Magic Kingdom and it was a busy day? Like, yep. I would be furious. Because if you... Anyway, I don't like park hop system. I really don't like
Quincy.
the 2 p.m. park hop.
It's okay. But speaking of updates, there are actually a lot of updates that have happened to this reservation system. Like what, Fry?
Thanks for that throw, Sage. Yes, Disney, they are constantly looking at feedback from guests on all of these systems. They want to make everything better than they can, so they do try to improve them along the ways. So originally with this park pass reservation system, if you wanted to change it, you would have had to go in and cancel your current reservation and then completely make a new one for a different park. That was very frustrating because sometimes if you cancel your reservation and then you can't get a new one, you're completely out of a park that day. You lost what you had.
That was still how it was in Disneyland when I went, by the way.
That's stinky.
Oh no. RJ,
Disneyland.
catch up, my guy.
no.
Catch up.
I'm sorry.
It's RJ's fault.
But now they've modified it, so instead of completely canceling your reservation and booking a new one, you just modify it to see what other parks are available. That way, even if you can't modify it to a new park, you're still going to have your original park, so you can still go to the theme parks that day, and you won't lose completely. So they are listening to guest feedback. Those surveys, anytime you go to Disney World and they send you that survey in the email, fill it out. That's what Disney looks at to improve everything in the parks, whether it's dining, entertainment, Genie Plus. Fill out those surveys because they do listen to those.
Those surveys always surprise me. Like, this is super off topic. I'm just gonna say it anyway. You know the highest rated show on Disney World property?
I don't know. Fantasmic?
I have a feeling
Nope.
the way you're talking about it has to be something that we're going to think is the way at the bottom.
Fry Bucket's not going to think it's way at the bottom.
No.
What is it?
It's Beauty and the Beast live on stage. It is the highest rated show on property. And I'm like, why? It's literally just because of the nostalgia of Beauty and the Beast.
It's
But
a great
don't-
show.
That is a point.
It is. I agree.
Disney does look at those surveys. The wheels on the bus go nowhere because it's gone. I'm kidding. Go
I
ahead,
take
RJ.
it back. You can't host the episode. I take it back. Absolutely not.
There
I'm
there
here
are
for
listen,
actual
hey,
tears
don't hate the
coming
player,
out of
hate
my
the game.
eyes. Oh my
The
god.
wheels on the bus
Oh my
go
gosh.
nowhere.
I am here for it. We love it.
Oh, wow,
I,
that was really
I know you've got some
something.
feelings. I know you got some feelings about that, RJ. Go ahead.
Oh my god.
Listen, I feel personally victimized the fact that the Magical Express is no longer here. As someone who lives on the West Coast, who travels to Disney World quite often, I miss the ease of being able to have my transportation laid out for me already. Of course, we know the Magical Express was a complimentary transportation service set up by Disney that took you to your Disney resort and would take your luggage too. And I'm just hurt because, as we know, last year, the Magical Express ended. The Magical Express would also take you from your resort to the Disney Cruise Line. There were huge, awesome benefits of this service that is no longer around. And of course, change is hard. But for me, this is the hardest, let me tell you. Carol P. agrees as well. She states that the Magic Express with luggage service and airport check-in was the greatest, and she's missing it too. That's some hard change that she is also dealing with. You know, for me, I loved getting on the Magical Express because it just felt so nostalgic. Like, that's when my trip began. I'd walk to the Orlando airport. I'd see the Magic Band little kiosk. I'd go ahead and beep, do my Magic Band. And then they'd be like, oh, you're in bus number 5. I get on bus number 5 and you've got the corny, cute little video that shows you all about the vacation. And you see the Disney characters on the side. And now I just have to Uber.
I mean, I think the Magical Express, like, honestly is a big loss for, like, the whole family, too. Because I know as a little kid, like, watching cartoons, like, first of all, watching cartoons, peak little kid experience.
Period.
Second of all, charter buses,
Oh,
peak
the
little
dream.
kid experience.
Right?
Like,
Yes.
those seats, and you're like, I have a little thing to put my feet on. Like, that's luxury when you're 10 years old. So, like, not
Correct.
only, like, is the charter bus gone, the cartoons are gone. So I feel like the experience that little kids are getting in an Uber, yikes, like, that's no fun, sitting in a stranger's car. or like even on these new charter bus services, like the Sunshine Flyer or the Mirrors service, those services just don't like offer the same magic transportation. Even if it is a charter bus, you still get a charter bus. That's nice at least. But then from an adult perspective, like as a grown-up who now like has to figure out like travel plans,
all the planning, right?
Everything sucks. Like having to like pay for another service, these like Sunshine Flyer, having to research, having to go on AllEars.net and read about these other ways to get from the airport to Disney World when it used to be built into your vacation. Like that's the worst. You have to pay for it. You now have to do research on it. And like if you Uber, like Ubering is stressful, man. Every time. Why has it got to be so stressful to Uber anywhere or Lyft?
The biggest thing for me was honestly, yes, as an adult, it definitely was not ideal for planning because you got to plan so much more. But really, like the word I would say is immediately you get out of the airport and you're immediately like immersed into that Disney magic, right? You've got the Disney characters, the cartoons, and also I don't do well on long drives. I hate road trips, like with a passion. And yes, from the airport to Disney, it's maybe a 30-minute, like maybe, but still, as a kid, they used to have like trivia on the television as well. That like it would pass the time, and it was all Disney related trivia. There was like a montage of like must do's and like all the different attractions you were about to. You were literally about to like witness and experience. You're like, yes, that's got to be the thing. It just immediately immersed you in that Disney magic. But I know that the city of Orlando wasn't thrilled about that, right, Fry?
Actually, the city of Orlando did not like the idea of Magical Express from the beginning because the city of Orlando wants all of these tourists to go all around Orlando. They don't want people to just stay at Disney. They want to see all of the other great places that Orlando has to offer. So when Disney was like, hey, we're going to take all of these people straight from the airport, take them straight to Disney, let them stay at Disney, take them straight back to the airport, then like the city of Orlando was like, we don't love that idea because you were only seeing Disney, which for people who want a Disney World vacation, that's great. That's magical. It takes it a step above. That's why people loved coming to Disney, because they took care of everything. It was stress-free. You didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And your vacation truly started when you landed at the airport. Like, that's what people say all the time. Like, you see the carpet at MCO and you're like, yes, my Disney vacation is starting, you know? So, city of...
I saw that video. that was a good video.
Yeah, Fry just.
Yes, I love that carpet. But the city of Orlando, on the other hand, was like, we have all these other great things to offer, not just Universal, but in the city in general. So there was kind of a little, not backlash, but they didn't love the idea from the beginning.
I would never have rented a car. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
If the Magical Express were an option, why would you? Like, Disney has... If you're staying at a Disney hotel, you get free transportation to and from the airport and then free transportation around property. Why would you ever rent a car to go anywhere else? But now it's like renting a car might be more viable than paying for an Uber each way to the airport. Because it can be during peak times. I live right near Disney World and I pay at minimum $35 to go to and from the airport. And at peak times, it can be $80.
The most that I've paid to get to my Walt Disney Resort was $95 from the airport during a peak time. And I was just like, is this a dream? Like, are you kidding me? And I remember staying at the airport and just trying to continue to get a lower price. $95 was the lowest price I can get in an hour of peak time.
Which sometimes you can rent a car for less than $200 for a trip. Like if you're doing each way in an Uber. The other thing is most of us are traveling like solo or in pairs. Like if you have to get an Uber XL to fit your family, you're paying an additional fee for that. There might not be availability. It's just like, I never would have considered renting a car. And now when I have to compare it with that or doing this research on the Sunshine Flyer and stuff, I'm like, well, maybe I would like the ease to drive around. Maybe I'd like to go to Universal. Maybe I'd like to go to Titanic the Artifact exhibition or Madame Tussauds, which you can learn more about on the AllEars.net YouTube channel.
Listen, I'm just here for all of the plugs that have happened so far.
I can't stop myself.
This is like a thing. Always, by the way, if you're gonna, we keep saying the word Uber, but if you're going to, I always recommend using Lyft instead of Uber. This happened. I kid you not. This happened to me 3 weeks ago. I was coming in from the airport, and it was a peak time, and they said, "Hey, do you want your ride to get to you faster? Just for a small additional fee." And I was like, "Sure." And I clicked sure, and I was like, what's a small additional fee? Like $5? It went from being a $40 Uber to $110 Uber. It's bonkers. It was ridiculous. But also Disney does have like a small kind of partnership with Lyft that actually you can use the minivans, you can get around, and Lyft is just better. So if you're gonna do Uber or Lyft, I recommend Lyft all the way.
I always compare both prices, but I have found more often than not, I keep both apps on my phone, and when I'm at the airport, I check both of them just to see which can get me there faster and or cheaper. But Lyft, with that partnership with Disney, most of the time I've found if I'm going somewhere around Disney, Lyft is cheaper and faster because more drivers are driving because of that partnership. But yeah, checking both is always good. But also, I wish the Magical Express were here and that I could get on a magical charter bus full of magical cartoons for free and then just end up at my magical Disney hotel.
Our viewer Gail C says she wants Magical Express with luggage handling even if it's an add-on fee. She doesn't want to deal with the luggage.
Same. I don't want to deal with luggage.
Who wants to deal with luggage? My gosh.
I really like the idea. Like, I honestly would be happy if the Magical Express came back and cost an add-on to your vacation package.
Fine.
I'd be cool with that. I don't know if like enough people weren't using it and that's why it got taken away, or if it was like a staffing thing, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would really like this service back or something akin to it.
Listen, they could even rebrand it. You know, if they want to spoof off of Genie Plus, they can do Carpet Plus. You know, it could be like a carpet transportation or something.
The magic carpet ride.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I do think people would go bonkers if they started charging for the Magical Express again, because people would say, just another way Disney's nickel and diming us. And I was like, well, do you want it or not? The wheels on the bus go nowhere.
Do you want to give me a...
Bring her out.
And probably the number one submission that was literally submitted by everyone, and it's the most controversial one. And Quincy, just say it. I can't even say it. You've got to say it. It's literally people are going bonkers about it. I can't do it. You got to do it.
People want the dining plan back, man.
Of course.
They want it back so bad. They want it back so bad that I am not exaggerating. We will post on AllEars Facebook and we'll be like, check out the topiaries for Flower and Garden. And everyone will be like, nice.
Bring
back the dining plan.
When's it coming back?
When is the dining plan coming?
When?
AllEars, look me in the eyes. When is the dining plan coming back? That's like, I've had people come up to say hi to me in the park and be like, oh my God, hi Quincy, we love your videos. Do you know when the dining plan is coming back? And I'm like, no, I don't. So the Disney dining plan, for those that don't know, was what it sounds like. It was a dining plan that you could use as an add-on to your vacation package. And you would book it in advance and you would get credits to dine in your meal. So you would pay a set fee at the beginning of your trip, get dining credits, snack credits, meal credits, that kind of thing. And then during your trip, you could use those credits and you wouldn't have to worry about spending on a credit card or out of pocket or anything like that on any of the food you were buying. You could just use the credits. So it was all of your spending on food was done in advance. Another one of those things that Disney did to help make you feel like you didn't have to worry about anything once you got there. That was the Disney dining plan. They had several different levels of the plan. You had to be staying at a Disney hotel, and you could pick the level of the plan that worked best for you. Like if you wanted to go all out and eat every table service meal, there was a plan that had a lot more table service credits. There were plans with more snack credits. So there were a lot of like things you could do to like customize your dining plan. It was kind of iffy on whether or not the dining plan was a good deal. In many cases, it was not, because you do have to use all of your credits for it to be a good deal. And a lot of people left credits on the table at the end of their trip. But dining plan has been totally gone since the 2020 park closures. What's so wild about this one is that Disney did say that it was coming back. last year in a Disney Parks blog post, at the very end of a Parks blog post, they had one sentence. It was like at the end of a Marvel movie when it's like Doctor Strange will return.
Yes.
Like that. It was like that at the very end of a blog post. It said the Disney dining plan will return. And that was it. And that was last year it's been a while and we have heard nothing else. Like it was just like Doctor Strange will return. And that's when. Who knows? And now I'm like, do they just want us to forget that they said that?
Mm-hmm.
Do they just want us to forget that they said the dining plan will return? Because we're not forgetting, and neither are any of you guys. As Alexis C says, bring back the dining plan.
Hold on, let's see if we can do this.
As Alexis C says, bring back the dining plan.
That was awful. That was really so bad.
Super good, you guys.
Okay, Chris is an amazing editor. He'll figure it out.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about the dining plan? My family was not a dining plan family.
My family was a dining plan family growing up on our trips. At the time, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it all worked out, whatever. Number one, our very first Disney trip that we took when I was in like high school, we ended up having like a table service meal every single day. And my family, we ended up not liking that because we had to plan our entire day around that table service. And so number one, we had too many table service meals. That's not really our style. We're more grab and go, hop in a line for a ride.
You are grab and go?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
Fry Bucket wants to keep moving? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really wild.
I know, shocking. So number one, we didn't like that. And after that trip, we were like, we cannot do a table service every single day on the next trip. Like, that's just not for us. Number two, we never spent all of our dining credits. Like, we were never even close to spending all of our dining credits until the very end of the night. There were so many trips where we would be in like the Art of Animation dining hall. We still had like 50 snack credits left over. I don't know how many, but we each had like 10, and there's 5 people in my family. So we were grabbing like 20 Rice Krispie treats, 20 like brownies, whatever we could, like the little goldfish, Mickey shaped goldfish things. Like, we were grabbing so much snacks that we all had to put in our bags and take with us home because we had a flight the next morning, but we wanted to use all of our snack credits and we didn't use them throughout the trip. And we had like 40 left over, and it was so much food that we could not finish it all. It wasn't until I started working here, actually at AllEars, where then I was learning more about the actual dining plan and saying, oh, this may not be as worth it as I used to think it was when I was a little kid, not knowing anything about budgeting and actually paying for trips. So then, as an adult, I was like, oh, maybe that's not really for me.
I'd have to say I am like with Alexis, bring back the dining plan now. Here's the thing.
Much better at that than me.
I completely understand your point, Fry Bucket. I completely understand it. It is a commitment. Getting the dining plan, you're committing to eating a lot on this trip. So I feel like if your family is not a foodie and you just want to ride, this might not be the option for you. But my family, we're foodies. We love getting around a table, eating, enjoying a meal, getting the bougie vibes, ordering the most expensive item because we can order it. And so we loved it. And I feel like there is a right way to do the dining plan and there's a wrong way to do the dining plan. And I feel like, having used it like since its inception and, I've learned a lot. Like, for instance, to speak to those snack credits, there's no way you're going to use all those snack credits. So my family and I would use our leftover snack credits to get little souvenirs that we can take home and give to people. Like, we'd go to Germany and we'd get all of the bags of Werther's candy, and we'd go to Goofy's Candy Kitchen and we would get those bags of candy and we would just give them out to our relatives as a little like souvenir, type situation. Also, I feel like the snack credits really come in handy if you're going to Epcot during a festival, because you could literally use those snack credits to eat at the festival booth. So I'm definitely for it. I'm probably one of the people who anonymously wrote, when is a dining plan coming back in our comments? That's definitely me.
Commenting on our own videos.
When people come up to me in the park and they're like, when's the dining plan coming back? I'm like, right, when is it coming back? Let's go ask Bob. So I'm here for it, and I'm hopeful that it will come back.
So another kind of interesting thing about this one is with the like Magical Express going away, there was no replacement or anything like that. There was no smaller version of it, paid version of it, nothing like that. Dining plan, that same thing was true for a while, but recently, and it's actually happened a couple of times since the dining plan went away, Disney has offered up a Disney dining card promo, which is different. And a lot of people aren't happy with this as the only option. Kelsey J says actual dining plans coming back is what they want, not this promo they have that the only way to get your meals covered is to stay at the most expensive hotel and resorts they have. Angry face, angry face, angry face, angry face. And I definitely get this sentiment. What the Disney dining card is it's a promo that comes with some hotel stays. So basically, if you book a minimum 5-night stay at a Disney World resort with at least 4 days of park tickets, you could be eligible to get a Disney dining promo card. But it is really only relevant to the more expensive hotels. So you already would have to spend maybe more on your vacation than you'd want to. Also, it doesn't work the same way with credits. It's basically a gift card. You're basically getting one gift card with your stay that's a free X amount of value. Disney originally said that the cards were good up to a $750 value, but we've since confirmed that they can be over $1,000 depending on what package you get. But you're basically getting a gift card that is a dollar amount, and it's not a credit system that you can use during your trip on food. Which is I think it's an awesome promo. I just think it's not the Disney dining plan. It does not fill the void that the Disney dining plan has left. And it's, the Disney dining plan should come. This doesn't do anything to help us get the Disney dining plan back or feel like it's back. It's totally different. So that's the kind of what Disney's brought back. And it's a cool promo, but it is like, it's pretty limited. It is what it is. It's a promo. It's like getting a credit for your cruise. You still have to worry about the dollar amount you're spending, which is a big reason a lot of people like the dining plan, is you don't have to worry about money dollar amounts. You worry about credits, which is a lot simpler when you're in vacation mindset. So I get why this one's not filling the void. I get you, Kelsey J.
Listen, you're still missing the free mug that they would give you that you can fill your drinks with. I feel like this is like an imitation Disney dining plan. Okay?
Imitation Disney.
You know how you have like Golden Grams, the cereal, and then you have like the no-name brand Honey Squares. I don't want your Honey Squares. I want the Golden Grams.
Like what? That was the most specific cereal you could go. Like you went with Golden Grams of all the cereals. You were like, Golden Grams do slap.
They do.
When you go to Spirit Halloween and you buy it and you're looking for a Mario costume, but instead they have Italian race car driver costume. That's what we're looking for.
What is with these examples?
We don't want your imitation dining plan. We want the real thing.
Like what? Like what? You guys are saying the most specific stuff I've ever heard in my life.
We may be specific, but are we lying?
No, I guess not.
So when we asked you, what do you hope changes in 2023? Everybody is just asking for things back. There were no changes. It was like, no, just bring these things back. And I get it. All of these are basically reverse changes. I'm here for it. I get it. So, but real quick, I want to go around the room here, and a quick fire challenge. What do you want to see change? Don't bring anything back. Let's think out of the box here for a second. Don't bring anything back. I want you to come up with a change that you think could be for the better for the Disney company. Quincy.
This is kind of cop-out, and you can't stop me. I want the walls down in Epcot. I want the Epcot transformation completed. I want Epcot to be not restored to its former glory. I want Epcot to reach its new glory. That is my park, and she is not being done her due currently until those walls come down. That's my change.
That is very much a cop-out.
I agree with you, Quincy. I'm sorry. It's a cop-out, but I agree. That's the change we need. We need the bandages to come off and to reveal the beautiful nose and the facelift that's been done. That's what we need. I feel like there should be more adult nightlife activities in Disney Springs.
Ooh.
And I think that would be, like Bring Pleasure Island 2.0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give us some options, to maximize, put the kiddos to bed and all the adults go and have a good time in Disney Springs. That's what I think, where we can dance and, adults.
I dig that.
I like that.
Yeah.
You got anything, Fred Bucket?
Wow. You threw me off with no bringing anything back. Because when you first asked the question, I was like, Citizens of Hollywood, I want them back. But
that's a good one.
That's a change in reverse.
I know.
As Walt Disney says, you keep moving forward unless
what if I don't want
you to.
What if I want to go backwards?
What I want to see change in 2023 is I want to finally put things in these underutilized spaces. So I'm talking about the animation courtyard at Hollywood Studios, like Star Wars launch,
the Incredibles area.
The Incredibles
Nothing in
area,
That's
a lot of these empty theaters that are still sitting there empty. Like, let's put some things in there, put some live entertainment back in there, or figure out something to do with it. I don't know, but let's start utilizing these very, very popular, could be popular, underutilized spaces. That's what I want to see change in 2023.
Thanks so much for joining us and watching, you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and go watch our video on if you can only go to Disney World for one day, what park would you go to?
Want more info for your next trip? Do a search on AllEars.net for anything Disney or Universal and get results that will blow you away. Be sure to like and subscribe, and most important, join the All Ears community by following us on social media at AllEars.net. Have some thoughts the cast missed? Let us know down in the comments. This is Chris for AllEars.net. See you next time.